Alec, I am ready whenever you are.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Alec Elder, and today I am discussing the topic of adversity faced by LGBTQ students. Based on a study conducted by Dr. Catherine Taylor and Tracy Peter, 50.8% of LGBTQ students, that is more than 1/2% of the students, is being verbally harassed based on sexual orientation alone. It gets worse. 64.8% of trans students are being verbally harassed based on the gender they identify with. And then 33.3% of the other LGBTQ student population are also being harassed for the exact same reasons. This unprecedented data begs the question, to what extent does adversity in an academic setting affect LGBTQ students, and how can these students overcome said adversity? The LGBTQ students, the teachers, and faculty, and the parents all have a say in this argument. In an article written by Dr. Mishima and Dr. Fay, there is a section in their research that covers suicide and substance abuse. They found that LGBTQ students are more prone to higher risks of suicide and to higher rates of substance abuse. LGBTQ students use substances to cope with the adversities that they are facing. These students are also having thoughts or attempting suicide to try and get out of their adversities. These adversities hinders who these students are. These students don't want to be known in fear of being harassed. Some students may build resilience to these adversities, which may cause more problems. In the stimulus, The Dark Side of Resilience, by Shamaro Prezumic, he talked about the effects of too much resilience. He said that it leads to people showing little to no emotion and people becoming less and less outgoing. Some teachers may be unfamiliar with interacting with LGBTQ youth. As the number of LGBTQ students rise, teachers and faculty need to become more familiar with these interactions. A way they can do this is by participating in activities such as the heteronormativity scavenger hunt. Activities such as these help make all sexualities the norm in the teacher's eyes. This also helps teachers to get to better know their students. Based on a study conducted by Dr. Janet Fontaine, counselors reported that 22% of students had seriously thought of suicide or have had attempted suicide in the past. Such data shows the concern that these teachers and faculty members have for their students. Parents can immediately tell when something is wrong with their child. It is human nature. It is also human nature for their parents to stand up for their children. In an interview conducted by Alicia Shelvin, she interviews a mother who heard an awful thing from her child. A teacher from her child's school told her to line up in the girls' or the boys' line. Her child didn't know which line up in. The teacher told the child's mother that she was weird in the teacher's class. The parent spoke out about this and comforted her child in a time of need. A parent should always give a safe space for their children. Solution 1, GSAs. GSAs provide a sense of community for both LGBTQ students and others who aren't. GSAs provide a place where these students can feel welcomed. GSAs also provide a less hostile environment, which makes LGBTQ students feel more safe. This sense of community brings students together, which makes the amount of harassers go down. However, some clubs require funding, and if the school shall not pay for this, it is up to the students and or the sponsor. Clubs like these also require a sponsor to start the club. Without a sponsor, there will be no club. Lastly, is there enough students who want to be involved? Some students may be afraid to join, others may be uninterested. Without the numbers, there wouldn't be a need for the club. Another solution would be the gay agenda. The gay agenda is the idea of making sexualities and genders the norm, of all sexualities and genders the norm. This will provide knowledge to students who aren't familiar with different genders and sexualities. This will then provide more inclusion in classrooms to make everyone feel more welcomed overall, which makes LGBTQ students feel more normal. This will also bring down the harassment level because if LGBTQ is the norm, why harass the students? Students, teachers, and parents may have different opinions over this, but the opinions of others shouldn't define who a person is. Moving forward, schools need to implement the gay agenda in classrooms to allow for more inclusion and to prevent levels of harassment further. GSAs could be implemented if there is enough funding, number of students, and of course, if there is a sponsor. We as a society need to accept these changes to prevent levels of harassment and make LGBTQ students feel more included overall. And those are my sources.
Alex, what evidence did you gather that you didn't include, and why did you choose not to use it?
So originally I was going to use the Haitian survivor stimulus piece, which talked more about like the resilience to the adversity, but I wanted to talk about more about the adversity instead of just the resilience to it.
Hi, Alec. What additional questions emerged from your research, and why are these questions important?
Originally, I thought the numbers were going to be higher because being a part of the LGBTQ student community, I used to be in a different school that wasn't as like accepting as this one is today. So I originally thought that the numbers would be a lot more higher.